Hey, welcome to Food and Philosophy episode 3. And today I got Ike's. This one is the Lil Mac, which is like a Big Mac, but I'll start with the bite in a second. But I'm just getting back from the Food and Philosophy in person in New Orleans and had my mind pondering lots of things. But first, Ike's. One more bite. So good. It's not the last bite I have. So last time we left off with all the agreements that we make. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. This first agreement is the most important one and also the most difficult one to honor. It is so important that with just this first agreement, you will be able to transcend to the level of existence I call heaven on earth. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. It sounds very simple, but it is very, very, very powerful. Why your word? Your word is the power that you have to create. Your word is your power. Your word is the gift that comes directly from God, directly from the universe, directly from whatever it is that you believe in. Through the word, you express your creative power. It is through the word that you manifest everything. Regardless of what language you speak, your intent manifests through your word. What you dream, what you feel, and what you really are will all be manifested through your word. You know what? Hopefully, you guys don't mind that I'm going to talk with my mouth full because I'm going to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be way too silent for too long. The word is not just a sound or a written symbol, the word is a force. It is a power you have to express and communicate, to think, and thereby to create the events in your life. You can speak what other animals on the planet can speak. The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is the tool of magic. But like a sword, it has two edges. Your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. One edge is the misuse of the word, which can create living hell. And the other edge is the impeccability of your word, which will only create and can only create beauty, love, heaven on earth, whether that's equanimity or balance within yourself. All the magic you possess is based on your word. Your word is pure magic, and misuse of your word is black magic. The word is so powerful that one word can change a life or destroy the lives of millions of people. Some years ago, one man in Germany, by the use of the word, manipulated a whole country of the most intelligent people. He led them into a world war with just the power of his word. I mean, heck, you can even look at current events now, current events 5 years ago, 5 years before that, 5 years before that, how it's all about the reality that we're creating and the word that we're saying. Because the human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are continually being planted. The seeds are opinions, their ideas, their concepts. You plant a seed, a thought, and it grows. As we spoke last time, a lot of the thoughts that you're having right now aren't even your thoughts. It's the thoughts of your parents or society or what you heard on social media or even just the regular media. They're not even your thoughts. So change your word. It changes your thoughts. In fact, you can control your thoughts right now, and you can literally then change your word, and then your whole world will change. And it'll change for you, and slowly but surely, it'll start changing for others that also are on the same page with you. But even if nobody else's life gets changed by your word, your life alone changing is enough. and then your life changing will undoubtedly change many other worlds too. The only problem is that too often the seeds that we fertilize are of fear, the thoughts that we have, the words that we use. Every human mind is fertile. What is important is to see which kind of seeds our mind is fertile for and to prepare it to receive the seeds of love. One word is like a spell, and humans use the word like black magicians, thoughtlessly putting spells on each other. Every human is a magician, and we can either put a spell on someone with our word or we can release someone from a spell. We cast spells all the time with our opinions. As an example, I see a friend and give him an opinion that just popped into my mind. I say, I see that kind of color in your face and people who are going to get cancer. If he listens to the word, if he agrees, he will have cancer in less than 1 year. This is the power of the word. During our domestication, our parents and siblings gave their opinions about us without even thinking. Now, think it to the example of your friend. Like, how often are you seeing somebody like, oh, you look like you lost weight, or you're looking good, or the other way, or like, are you okay? Have you had sleep? Things like that. Often, for me personally, I'll speak for myself. Somebody says something to me, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that I wasn't even cognizant that maybe I wasn't getting enough sleep because I didn't think that I looked bad or that I had bags under my eyes or whatever it was. And I started going, oh, you know what? You're right. Actually, I did only sleep a couple, 6 hours or 5 hours last night. And then I start going, oh, maybe I am tired. Maybe I'm tired. And even worse things, we believe these opinions, say in the example of our parents or society, and we live the fear in fear of these opinions, like not being good at anything, not being a good boy, girl, being big good kid, not being good at sports, writing, whatever it is, singing, whatever the things are for you. So somebody gives an opinion and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't sing or you have a face for radio or whatever those things are for you." And then you start growing up and you believe them. In fact, right now, the parts of you that know how and remember, I'll do this with you too. What are like three things that were based on opinions from when you were a kid, like of somebody to you, whether it was your parents or if it was a teacher or if you grew up religious, your church? What were three opinions given about you that still hold dominion of you and you're still like living your life as if I better watch out or in fear of? What are just three things, three quick things? I'll give you 1 minute. I give you guys 10 more seconds. I'll share mine with you while you're writing for another 15 seconds. So first one is not having to achieve in a sense, though, where I have to do or be of value to the classroom, to the people, say in my family, things like that. And I'm talking about 5 years old, 6 years old, being in kindergarten or first grade, the things about having to participate in class in a certain way. And that stems out to now about how feel like I have to be of value to be worth it to, and I'm like, am I doing enough, or am I being enough, or am I contributing enough? Instead of like, I make the world's greatest sandwiches and I help so many people, yet I'm still asking, am I being of value? And in the next Learn from Mike lesson, which is coming up, I'm going to talk about being of value. That's one of the main topics there. Another thing I have is being short. Like I literally don't ever even think about my height except for when somebody says it and I'm like, "Oh, shoot, that's right. I'm short." And then I start going, "Oh, I'm short. I wonder if they're judging me. I wonder if they'll like me. I wonder if she'll like me. I wonder if he'll think I'll be a good business partner." All those things come up only because other people say, "Oh, wow, you're short." It happens in a good way too. If someone's like, "Ike, you dress really great," or "Ike, I love your sandwiches." And still, what are these opinions and what are they doing to you and how are they controlling your life? In the end, we get our attention hooked by these things. And so the world can enter our mind and change a whole belief of ourselves. We could do for the better, it could do it for worse. So why would you want to do it with yourself for worse? And why would you want to do it for other people for worse? Often we do it on purpose. We'd be what, passive aggressive, or we'd be sarcastic on purpose with the intention of like getting a little jab in there. How come? With ourselves too, we do it with ourselves. Nobody talks more shit to me than I do in my own head to myself. And I catch myself not every single time. I catch myself often. Going, "Why are you talking to yourself like that? What is it that I'm hoping to achieve from this?" So when you're doing it with yourself, how come? When you're doing it to others, how come? What is it that you're hoping to achieve by these things? Here's another example. You may believe you're stupid, and you may have believed this for a long time, or that your ideas never work out, or the things that I wrote here, being short or having to achieve in order to be of value or contribute. This agreement can be very tricky, causing you to do a lot of things just to ensure that you're stupid. You may do something and think to yourself, I wish I were smart, but I must be stupid or I wouldn't have done that. In business, I was having a conversation with a potential business partner a couple days ago, and he was telling me about how his other business partnerships have gone in the past. And I'm thinking to myself, well, those things are probably true or are true. No reason to doubt him. It's what is speaking it right now about some past stuff being of value to him. Otherwise, he's going to end up trapping himself with, I think I'm a freaking great business partner. And if it doesn't work out, it'd be because he created that with his word. I'm not saying that I'm like the best business partner ever. So obviously, I'm going to co-create with him if it ends up being bad. And what are those things? So here in this example, I'm stupid. Him in his example, people are going to want to take advantage. The mind goes in hundreds of different directions, and we could spend days getting hooked by just one belief of ourselves, whether we think we're dumb or we think we're slow, we think we can't achieve, we think our ideas are dumb, we think nobody will like us, we think we're not good looking. It doesn't, whatever it is. Then one day someone hooks your attention and using the word, like say, you're stupid, or I think that's a stupid idea. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm shocked, stupid. You believe what this person says and you make a new agreement. So, how can you get yourself out of it? So, what if someone that you respected said, "Hey, you're not stupid." Whoever you put on a pedestal regarding anything in an area where you feel like you're missing right now in your life, whoever that person is, that key person, whether say if you're a sports person, it's like Steph Curry's like, "Oh my God, I love how you play defense" or something like that. Whoever it is, if you like a politician or a business person, if they just said, "Wow, that's a phenomenal idea. I want to invest in you," but they do it in a way and they speak it to you, and you automatically like, believe them, and you shift all of a sudden from, "Oh, I thought my ideas are dumb," to, "Wow, I've got great ideas." The spell gets broken. In fact, we can do this spell for other people. Somebody says they're stupid, and not that we're like, "Oh no, you're not stupid," but being with them in a way, if you're doing it correctly, if you're doing it in a way that people respect your word, like if you give your word to yourself and people start seeing you as that, and then you tell them, actually, you're not stupid. You have this creative idea, and this creative idea. You can literally shake someone out of the spell that they have on themselves just through the power of your word or somebody else's word. Conversely, if somebody that you respect or love says, actually, you know what, you are an idiot, or all your ideas are dumb, or you are suck on the basketball court, I never want to pick you ever again, those beliefs of yourself start getting reinforced. So let us see what the word impeccability means. Impeccability means without sin. Impeccable comes from the Latin word peccatus, which means sin. The im in impeccable means without. So impeccable means without sin. Religions talk about sin and sinners, but let's understand what it really means to sin. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself, which goes against what it is that you love, which goes against your natural progression through life. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. That's everything that you do or you say against yourself is a sin. You go against yourself when you judge or you blame yourself for anything, even if you're right, even if you did do something stupid, even if you created that. Going against yourself is sinful. It's not being impeccable. In fact, it doesn't matter what you've done or not done. Is any of us ever going to truly know all the ripples of the consequences of anything that we've done or not done? Don't know what the ripples through time is going to be, what the like the whole butterfly effect kind of thing. You go back in time. If you can go back in time and like pull a leaf off a tree and the whole universe is different when you come back here, then how then is it you changing your mind will not do the same kind of ripple effects through time? You not doing something or doing something that you dub as stupid or you would never do again, of course that's going to make a ripple through time that changes it for better for some and for worse for some others. And that's only if we're looking at it from an imbalanced space. Nothing's ever wrong, nothing's ever right. Everything's always wrong and everything's always right. All those answers are the same. So it's either never wrong or never right. And it's also always wrong and always right. It's all of that. You're just not seeing it. What depending on what side of the perspective you're sitting on is really controversial to say some stuff like that, especially when terrible things go on in the world on a frequent basis. But it's still the truth. Sandwich time. Mozzarella stick. Mm. Being without sin or being impeccable is not going against yourself. You do or you do not, and then you're just with the experience, trusting that it's just as has as many drawbacks as benefits for everybody involved. And if you didn't do it, it would have just as many drawbacks as benefits. So not just you doing it has as many drawbacks as it has benefits, but you not doing it has just as many drawbacks as the benefits would that you're perceiving. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself for anything. From this point of view, the whole concept of what a sin is changes from something moral or religious to something of common sense to something even more deeply rooted in the essence of all beingness, being human, being alive. Begins with rejection of yourself. Self rejection is the biggest sin that you can commit. How often have you demeaned yourself, even if you were right, and the people around you like, oh no, hold on, we love you and you're great. That how many times has that happened to you in your life? In fact, we call it fishing for compliments sometimes because it's so overt that people do it, even if it might not be overt for them. We're still like, oh, they're fishing for compliments, or they just want us to tell them how amazing they are. Because self rejection is the biggest sin that you can commit. Impeccability, on the other hand, that leads to life. It leads to change. It leads to the only way that things can go. Being impeccable with your word is not using the word against yourself. If I see you in the street and I call you stupid, it appears that I'm using the word against you. But really, I'm using my word against myself because you're going to hate me for this, and your hating me is not good for me. Therefore, if I get angry and with my word send all that emotional poison to you, I'm using the word against myself. If I love myself, I will express that love in my interactions with you. and then I'm being impeccable with the word because the action will produce a like reaction. If I'm great to you and I love you and I tell you how amazing you are, you're going to probably love me and think how amazing I am, right? A sarcastic environment is a negative environment. A negative environment is a negative environment for the person being sarcastic just as much as the one that is the brunt of the sarcasm. Being impeccable with your word is the correct use of your energy. It means to use your energy in the direction of truth and love for yourself. If you make an agreement with yourself to be impeccable with your word, just with that intention, the truth will manifest through you and clean all the emotional poison that exists within you. But making this agreement is difficult because we have learned to do precisely the opposite. We've learned to lie as a habit of our communication with others and more importantly with ourselves. We are not impeccable with our word. How often do you want to say something to someone or give your honest opinion and then you don't because you're worried about hurting their feelings or you don't want it to be uncomfortable for yourself? The power of the word is completely misused. We use the word to curse, to blame, to find guilt, to destroy. Of course, we also use it in the right way, but not as often as we use it to break down. Mostly we use the word to spread our personal poison, to express anger, jealousy, envy, and hate. It's why when someone that's actually impeccable with their word or truthful, or some people like I'm brutally honest or whatever. Not those people, obviously, because those people are also full of shit 99% of the time because they're not actually being brutally honest. They're just being brutally brutal. If they were actually honest, they'd be like, "Oh wow, I should probably shut the bleep up because the negativity that I'm about to put out is because I feel negative about myself." But they would never actually even say that. So don't worry about the people that are brutally honest. They're like the least honest people that you know. But when you actually run into somebody that is a genuine person and they speak their truth and you believe that they are impeccable with their word, maybe even if it's not in that same uh, vein, but you know that when so and so says something, you believe them because they tend to say the truth about what's real for them, we feel better around those people. If you have any of those people, just have them pop in your mind right now. Don't you feel better when you're around those people? And unfortunately, it's not a lot of people. It doesn't mean people are all of them are bad. How often? And doesn't mean that anybody you hang out that doesn't do that is not fun to be or you don't like to be around them. But think about the people that are actually that. We put them on a pedestal. We feel great around them. You're the one who want to text them or hang out with them. You want to watch their videos because the word is pure magic, the most powerful gift we have as humans, and we mostly use it against ourselves. And we use it against, like, sometimes we even think we're using it against others, but in fact, we're using it against ourselves. I'm taking another bite. Being impeccable with my word, that bite was delicious. We plan revenge on other people. How many daydreams have you had? Of how many people's lives have you destroyed in your daydreams or night dreams or thoughts? Get lost in a thought about literally dismantling somebody's life. How often have you done that? How many people? There might even be a recurring person that you can continuously do that with. We create chaos with the word, even if we're just speaking inside of our own minds. Nobody hears us but us. We use the word to create hate between different races, between different people, between different families, between nations, etc. We misuse the word so often, and this misuse is how we create and perpetuate the dream of hell on this planet. Misuse of the word is how we pull each other down and keep each other in a state of fear and doubt because the word is the magic that humans possess, and misuse of the word is black magic. We're using black magic all the time without even knowing that our word is magical at all. Whenever we hear an opinion and we believe it, we make an agreement and it becomes part of our belief system. In fact, you can't ever insult somebody if they don't already believe it on some level themselves. You said, "Ike, your freaking sandwiches suck." I'm just gonna think that you don't have taste buds. I'm not gonna actually be offended because I don't believe on any level. You might not think I make the best sandwiches in the whole world, but my sandwiches sure as hell aren't like crappy. They don't suck. So no matter what you say, if you said that, I'd just be like, "Oh, well, you obviously don't have taste buds," or "There's something wrong with you," or well, I would go into myself and not be insulted by that. And there's certainly things where people will say some things about me, and I actually get offended. In fact, if you're offended by anything that anybody said, look at yourself and be like, "Wow, wait, where do I believe this is true about myself or about the world?" We cannot hurt, nor can we help anybody without their permission. I can't talk smack about you and it hurt you unless you already believe it to be true. Most of the time, somebody's talking smack to you, they're actually just talking to themselves. If it lands for you, it just happened to be a coincidence that it landed for you too. So it's a twofer. Like I'm talking smack to you so you can heal yourself and so I can heal myself if it lands for you. But if you're just saying my sandwiches suck, then I'm gonna just be like, oh, well, they probably talking about their own cooking or something because it doesn't land. But there are things that land for you. Like, what are the things if somebody was talking smack to you right now? Like, list two things. If somebody said you were fill in the blank, that it wouldn't bother you at all because you don't believe it on any level. It's two things. Like, there's definitely two things. Me, like, so sandwiches. And if somebody said like I was an asshole or a mean or I'm not a kind person, I'd be like, well, I don't believe you at all. I'm one of the nicest people I know. And then so what are and then also what are two things that oh, when some people say to you, you really get offended. In fact, what were the last 2 times you've been offended by what somebody said about you? What are those things? Write them down and then start looking at yourself. What is this coming up for you to look at right now? How many times do we do this with other people? We give them these types of opinions about ourselves, whether they're coworkers, family members. If you have children, is probably the biggest place where it is because look at what you learned about the world. You learned it from your parents in the beginning. And if you didn't have parents, whoever it was that was around you in the beginning of your life, you learned about life, whether it's teachers or other adults. Could even be the religious section of life that you grew up with. People who actually love us are the ones that do the most black magic on us, but they don't even know that they're doing it for the most part. Some may be doing it on purpose because they've got some mental illness, but even those folks, I believe that they're not actually doing it on purpose, consciously. That is why we must forgive them. They don't know what they do. Next time you get insulted by somebody on social media, I want to take my own advice. Next time somebody insults me on social media, I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, they don't even know what they're doing. They're just talking to themselves. All right, I'll just let it slide." So just forgive everybody, even if you believe them. Even if you like they say something and you're like, "Wow, actually, I should look at that in myself." Just forgive them anyway. They don't know what they're doing, but especially if it's people that love you, they really don't know what they're doing, and if they do, they're not doing it on purpose. Another bite. Thank you, Polish Paul. This is the greatest idea I've ever had, though, is to talk while I'm eating. Just so you know, kill two birds with one stone. I love speaking. I love reading. Three birds. I love eating. The spells from the people that we love, this black magic with their word, are difficult to break. The only things that can break these spells is to make a new agreement based on truth. So look at your life. Look at what your life is demonstrating right now. What are what are your five favorite things about yourself? And about yourself, what are the five favorite things about yourself? And start speaking those into truth, into existence. It's already true. You have evidence of them becoming true. So when somebody says you're dumb, look at this list of five things. where in these 5 things were you an actual literal genius in those areas? So you obviously couldn't be dumb. Or somebody says you're lazy, or somebody says, what other things? Whatever it is that brings you down. Look at these list of 5 things that you love the most about yourself. And next time somebody says something and you get upset, compare it to the list of 5 and ask, where is the thing that just came out of somebody's mouth in a negative way not true according to these 5 things on your list? The truth is the most important part of being impeccable with your word. What's actually true about you versus what's an opinion from other people. On one side of the sword are the lies which create black magic from people most we love. And on the other side of the sword is the truth, which has the power to break the spell of black magic. And only the truth wins in the end. Looking at everyday human interactions, imagine how many times we cast spells on each other with our word. Over time, this interaction has become the worst form of black magic, and this is what we call gossip. So I'm going to end here. We'll talk about gossip next time. Let's go to the chat. What's up, Ben? Jacqueline? Shout out Lucas and Jacob. Thanks, guys. Somebody wants to know when the San Leandro store is going to open. I don't know. It's probably going to open in December. Hopefully, this video comes out before San Leandro opens. Thanks, Bad K. I appreciate you being at Ike's right now. Michelle, I love you. What's is that Mig? MJG? Thanks so much. You're at Ike's too. I love how you guys are watching Ike, eating Ike's while you're at Ike's. Love you too, Michelle. Thanks so much. What's up, JaVale? Love cats. Hey, what's up, JaVale? Who's sweat? What's up, Nova? Cola, thank you. I appreciate you. Hey, Farbeezy, my man. What up? Fabiana, Ilana. Thanks, guys, all for being here. Shay, and if I'm just going to shout everybody out, we'll be here for another half an hour. So, sorry. Love you guys. Saucy. Hey, Polish Paul. I think it's, or is it Polish? Polish Paul or Polish Paul? Are they spelled the same? I don't know. Thanks so much. I appreciate your kind words. Thanks. I like my social media too. Appreciate it. All right. That's it for today. I'm going to take one more bite of this Ike's. I'll catch you next time. Remember, guys, life, everything, it doesn't matter because it's only a matter of time.